So some people have resources, but they don't have resourcefulness. And it's something that you're going to need to have to build and develop very, very seriously if you're somebody, especially if you're building from scratch. So let me give you an example. How many of you have seen, and see, the problem with many people is the lens that their upbringing gave them. Maybe they had parents that were not so intelligent in the interpretation of certain features of their children's life. What those upbringings can do is they can educate something that is meant to be your advantage into your disadvantage. Thus, the actual resource that you have, you can let me give you an example. You are a lady, all right, or you're a guy, you're a young guy in school, you're growing up and all that. And how many of you know that if you are working with them, you feel very bad because they will know everybody and they'll be greeting everybody. How many of you know people like that? You don't work with them with smart in hey, Shalewa. Now, that person can be a very, very broke person materially. But this is it. The person knows, maybe if you're in the university, the person knows everybody in school. Both the cleaner, both the man selling rice, both the body woman, both the DSS, I see DSS, DSA, maybe you're doing, because I'm using those contents because it's your program, students CEO program. Knows everybody. Knows how to relate with everybody, knows how to connect to, knows all the lecturers, those are the kind of people that carry lecturers back with them to the office. Now the person grows up in an African home, and because people like that many times are very jovial and they talk a lot. All right. They grew up in an African home, and guess what? Because they talk a lot, the African parents look at them and say, "Hey, you talk too much. Ba 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 cha 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 like a parrot. Learn to shut your mouth. You talk a lot." And so the very thing that is the person's advantage that can be traded as a resource in relationship, the person now says, talking a lot is bad. The person begins to shut it down. But what you've not realized is the problem is not talking a lot. The problem is not knowing when to talk. You know, there are different things. If when you're meant to talk, you talk a lot, is not a problem. You talk, but the problem is not knowing when to talk. So rather than engineering the skill to be deployed properly in the right context, we throw the baby and the bathwater all away together. Because while that person doesn't have money, that person knows every single human being. Relationships. If that person finds a good product, has a bit of brushing, fantastic marketer, all those things turn into cash.